Matthew, we were already high on South Carolina quarterback LaNorris Sellers before he played a game as a freshman, but he's really starting to come into his own. Let's talk about it after the stinger. It's Felix, Sharpe, and Matt Bruening for CampusToCanton.com. I hope you like what we're doing to push college fantasy football, specifically the Campus to Canton format that incorporates both college and NFL players. We can get into that a little bit later, but if you want more about what a Campus to Canton League is, you can click the link in the description box. Matthew, we were high on LaNorris Sellers. If you pay attention to our content, we called him the next Anthony Richardson. He's a player that I actually rage quit a league because somebody traded in front of me to get him. Like, our customers, our subscribers, LaNorris Sellers was not a surprise to our folks, but he's really starting to come into his own. In his first 4 games of the season, he had less than 170 yards passing in each. Since then, averaging 250 yards passing, including his best performance of the year Saturday against Missouri, 21 for 30, 353 yards passing, adding 45 yards on the ground. He's difficult to corral in the backfield. There's a little bit of Anthony Richardson to his game. There's a little bit of Ben Roethlisberger to his game. We were already high on him. I had him in my QB 12, but probably going into 2025, he's probably going to be a top 5 quarterback for me after we lose the 2024. This class is going to be the NFL draft class. What are your thoughts about LaNorris Sellers? He appears to be him indeed.
He really does. I have him as my QB 12 as well, and he's probably going to jump up into he's in the discussion, I think, for QB1 going into 2025. I think it's got to be him. Probably DJ Lagway and Arch Manning is probably going to be the argument for the top 3, I would think, once we see some of these quarterbacks go into the NFL. But he's just been amazing. You mentioned Anthony Richardson, Big Ben. He gets comps to Cam Newton, Justin Herbert, Andrew Luck. He's such a talented player. He has an arm velo of 56, which is one of the best in college football, and he's also listed as a .92 athlete, one of the best in all of college football, again, playing the quarterback position. If you watch that Missouri game, he had a play where he just could not be brought down by the defenders, and that's where I think the Big Ben part comes into it, right? It's he's stiff-arming dudes down and then finding ways to get the ball down the field. He is a phenomenal athlete, and I think the biggest difference between him and Anthony Richardson is we are already seeing the progressions and the accuracy of him throwing the ball as a, redshirt freshman, sophomore out on the field, his first year starting. And you mentioned, his completion percentage in the game last week. He's rocking a fairly good completion percentage on the season at 61.6. And if we're being honest, really, his first game against Old Dominion, where he had a 39% completion percentage, and the game against Texas A&M, where he had a 48% completion percentage, that's what's weighing him down. If you look at his adjusted completion percentage overall, he's sitting at 72.6. That is a very good completion percentage for a guy that many people view as just an athlete, and he's not that. If you really go watch what he can do, he can fire the ball in the short, intermediate areas of the field. He does a really good job throwing the ball down the field. He's accurate to all 3 levels of the field. This is realistically a guy I think we could be talking about as QB1 overall in his class, which is coming up next year, which, again, in a group with guys like Arch Manning. Who am I forgetting? Dante Moore, who we haven't even seen, take a snap. We had Malachi Nelson up there. He's also not been playing at all for Boise State. There's a real shot. LaNorris Sellers is 1-1 for NFL GMs over a guy like Arch Manning if he continues to progress this way moving forward.
I love to compare what we're doing to On 3 and 24/7, because since we started in March of 2021, we have had some super hits. Quinshon Judkins, 3-star. Ashton Genty, 3-star. By the way, we interviewed Ashton. We liked him so much, we interviewed him before he played it down at Boise State. I can put the link for that in the description box, but we've had some super hits. It appears like LaNorris Sellers is the next one, considering he was a 3-star prospect in his class and in his class also. I don't really know what to say, because we've probably spent a lot of time talking about LaNorris Sellers. I know people that are watching this video will be coming across us for the very first time, but subscribe to the Campus to Canton podcast feed, subscribe to the YouTube page, because we've been there. Matt, I guess I should say it this way, Matthew. we're coming across these guys. We're coming across guys like Quinshawn Judkins, guys like LaNorris Sellers, guys like, Sam Levitt, who we just did a video on. We're coming across these guys because there are stakes attached to our analysis. We're playing in campus to Canton leagues. We need to get these players that, have high level college potential and even have the ability to go to the next level. And we have to identify them before they play a snap of college football, because we got to draft them in freshman drafts. And LaNorris Sellers was right there. If you listen to our content, we've been talking about him for 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're evaluating these guys straight out of high school to get to where we are now. And again, you mentioned it very high on him coming out of high school. We hadn't even taken in, obviously, the spring game, which I think it was like, a 60-yard bomb he did in the spring game. But we've loved him since then. And what's even more interesting, if you are just coming across this video and you're learning about LaNorris Sellers, or maybe are a South Carolina fan, whatever it is, that game in 2 weeks is going to be the one. That game against Clemson, where South Carolina is not only able to effectively knock out their biggest rivals out of the playoff race, but keep themselves in it because they're able to beat Clemson, which is a very good defense. That's the game that I really want to see what Sellers can do, because the Texas A&M game was the other best defense he's played, and he struggled somewhat in that game. Still, at the end of the day, won the game. I think they won the game, but played well at the end of the game, but struggled early on. I want to see what he looks like in that Clemson game, likely, hopefully, fully healthy as well.
QB1 overall, is that too high? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. South Carolina fans, let's get this to 50 likes. Let's go. LaNorris Sellers, QB1. Peace. I could have just